All right, let's dive into something that could totally change how we deal with the internet. What if the answer to all the disinformation out there wasn't just about arguing over what's true? What if we could engineer a system where proving something is authentic is as simple as, say, checking the seal on a bottle?
I mean, does this question hit a little too close to home for you? If you've ever felt just completely buried under the daily avalanche of headlines, viral posts, all of it, you're definitely not alone. It can feel like this constant draining battle just to figure out what's real and what's not.
And this, right here, this is the heart of the problem. You see, this imbalance, it's not an accident. Disinformation is literally engineered to be slick, simple, and super easy to believe at a glance. But trying to debunk it, oh, that takes a ton of work, which gives a huge unfair advantage to people making this stuff up.
This whole setup creates what we can call the verification trap. It's that sinking feeling that no matter how hard you try, no matter how many sources you check, you're always playing catch-up. It's designed to feel like a losing battle.
And here's the kicker. This trap works so well because it's not about you not being smart enough. It's about our own biology. Our brains just aren't built for this. Classic psychology tells us our working memory can only juggle about 7 things at once. We have a limited amount of attention to spend each day, and we're all walking around with cognitive biases. The internet we have today basically works against our brains, not with them.
So what if we just changed the battlefield? Instead of getting trapped in these endless, exhausting debates about what is true, what if we shifted the whole fight to provenance? In other words, where did this thing actually come from? And has anyone messed with it since it was published?
And that brings us to this big idea, verification cost asymmetry, or VCA. This isn't just some nice theory. It's a real engineered mathematical framework. And its whole purpose is to flip the script. The goal is to make checking authentic stuff super cheap and easy for you, while making it incredibly expensive and hard for an attacker to make a believable fake.
And look at this comparison. It shows you just how huge of a shift this is. The old way, that's the slog we all know. Hunting for original sources, clicking through a dozen tabs, and still feeling kind of uncertain. But the new way with VCA, the cost to you is low. It's simple, almost instant, and mostly automated. It completely changes the game. Now, it's really important to be clear here. VCA is not some magic truth machine. It's not going to tell you if an idea is good or bad, and it's definitely not a replacement for good old-fashioned critical thinking. What it does do is give everyone a secure starting point, a trusted chain of custody. It lets you know with mathematical certainty that the thing you're looking at is exactly what the original creator published, with zero sneaky edits.
So how on earth does this actually work?
Well, you can think of it as creating a unique, unbreakable digital fingerprint for a piece of information. The system uses cryptography to basically seal the original content. This is the perfect way to think about it, right? When you pick up a bottle of aspirin, you don't take it home and run a chemical analysis on the pills. You just look at the little foil seal. If the seal is intact, you trust the pills are what they say they are. VCA wants to do that for information. You don't have to be a tech genius, you just need a simple tool that can check the seal for you.
And this is what checking the seal looks like. The whole process is designed to be almost effortless. Your app or browser downloads a spot-checkable file. It automatically checks the digital signature, then you just tap the screen a few times to spot-check a few random data points, and boom! You get a super clear result, a big green check mark for authentic or a big red X for a fake. The whole thing takes just a few seconds.
Okay, so that all sounds fantastic in theory, but, does it actually hold up in the real world? Well, the researchers put this framework to the test, and frankly, the results are pretty mind-blowing. Just look at this data from their lab study. When they asked people to verify some information, the folks without the VCA tools took almost 16 seconds. But with the tools, they took just over 4 seconds. That's a 73% drop in the time it takes to get to the right answer. A huge, huge increase in efficiency. Now let's apply this to something bigger. Imagine a government economic report comes out, but some bad actor creates a forgery, changing just a few key numbers to mess with the stock market. For a normal person, figuring that out could take up to an hour and more than 50 different steps. But for someone with a BCA tool, it's 3 taps. About 15 seconds. The difference is just staggering. That case study led to this incredible number, 25 to 1. Let that sink in. It was 25 times harder to verify the information without the tool. This is what it means to engineer an advantage for the good guys, for you. It flips the entire model on its head. And you can see this is so much bigger than just making your own life easier online. Adopting a framework like VCA has massive implications for how our whole society works. It's about engineering a smarter, more robust, more resilient democracy. This gives us a whole new design philosophy. Imagine social media platforms that actually empower you to check things instantly. Imagine government reports or public health data that are completely immune to digital forgeries. We could start to see our democratic institutions as infrastructure that actively makes it cheaper and easier for all of us to be informed. Which leaves us with this final, really powerful thought. For so long, the main response to fake news has been to tell everyone to think harder, to get better at media literacy, basically putting all the work on you. But what if that's only half the story? What if the most effective solution is actually an engineering one? What if we could build smarter systems that are designed to favor the truth? Systems that make being an informed citizen easy, not exhausting. Just imagine what our world would look like then.